co-caster into the game. So while I'm busy arranging that, I don't want you guys to see the password. So I'm just getting a co-caster jumping up. He's going to be Sia Steve, but I just quickly need to get the game password. All right, let's see if this works. Sorry about the brief delay. We will be watching Absolute Legends versus Teamless in a second. We do have a co-caster up and running. And there we go. I'm ready. So let's get Sia Steve up and on chat. Then we can actually pull up the game screen as well. Hey, Sia Steve, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. For everybody that doesn't know you, would you like to do a quick introduction?
Sure. I'm just an American kid over here casting. I cast my own tournaments and I cast for ESL a couple of times. Not a big name, just a player that likes to cast.
Sweet. What's your primary player, or what's your primary role when you play League of Legends and the US rank ladders and whatnot?
I'm usually an AD player. I really like bottom lane. I guess I focus mainly on playing Vayne, Caitlyn, and sometimes Kog'Maw. And if I had to pick a secondary, it'd probably be jungling. So those are my two things that I'm really big on.
Sweet. So we're in the game. Have you been watching the Dreamhack qualifiers thus far?
I have actually. I finished watching that last game. I haven't gotten enough time to watch as much as I would like to, but it's been a pretty good run so far. Watching these teams go at it.
And we are about to get live. Of course, this is the first game of a best of 3 Absolute Legends versus Teamless. The winner of this best of 3 qualifies for Dreamhack. So there's quite a lot to play for.
Yes.
All right, so I'm getting my little overlay set up really quickly. And we are literally just waiting for the champions to get starting. Sia Steve needs more volume. So I'm going to bump you up on my soundboard. Let's see how that plays out. So if everybody that's in chat, head over to the chat box. You can see the link for the tournament bracket. What was the last tournament you casted, Sia Steve?
The last one, I run my own tournaments every Saturday, and so the last one I casted was for Zeke. It was a 27-team tournament. It was pretty good. No real big stuff. I haven't really casted anything of this scale yet, actually. So it'll be nice to get some feedback. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Sweet. So we'll throw up a Reddit post after this, guys. Share some love. Get some feedback back. What do you think of the casting? What do you think what's happening? But at the moment, we're just waiting for the guys to actually kick off and get started. Whenever TL ready. Well, casters are ready. You can see we're in the lobby. It's just up to the players to actually start us off. Now, I would like to ask chat. Let's give some details. Who do you think is going to win? Absolute Legends or Teamless? Teamless just 2-0'd CLG EU. I'd like to know, who do you think is going to win this game? So I'm keeping a close eye on chat. AL. Couple of votes for Teamless, but for the most part, AL all the way down the line. And wow, first ban from Absolute Legends is Fizz. Not wanting to deal with Fizz from Teamless. How often is Fizz played in the US scene, Steve?
Honestly, I don't think he's played enough. He's kind of a sleeper on a lot of the games that we see. His passive and his mobility, the trickster, being able to be invulnerable for everything, everything just works so well for him. He really punishes people for missing even just one spell. So he's definitely a strong character, but he doesn't get enough love in the US scene, I don't think.
I'm a big fan. I play a lot of Fizz in the middle, and I really enjoy it. So Urgot and Nocturne, the next champions banned out. We've actually seen Urgot in every single game today. So very interestingly, he has won games and lost games, but has been around. Next ban is Shen. Are we going to see a Twisted Fate ban, potentially, possibly? Are they going to allow Extinct to get his TF, who just, of course, who he just played to great effect in the previous game?
Yeah, I mean, he's a strong character in mid. He's able to gank all over the place whenever he feels like it. He's a lot of people over here at least kind of compare him to Karthus because he can just hit R and then suddenly he's in your lane doing a lot of damage. So it's nice to see people finally giving TF a lot of love. He kind of fell off over here for a little bit after they took his ult away from being global, but now he's starting to kind of come back on the scene.
Yeah, the split pushing power and the fact that he can clear waves so quickly is incredibly powerful. And obviously, if you can just keep on a tower for a little bit of time, allow your Lichbane procs to go off, you can actually tear towers apart quite quickly. But the last two bans, Jax and Morgana. So Absolute Legends, they've got their pick. They have the opportunity to take Twisted Fate. They have the opportunity to take Soraka, who's been quite favored the last week or so. Bans and first picks as well. So let's see who they are going to select. Who are they going to take? That's the question. And it is Soraka. There we go. So Soraka first pick. What do you think of that, Steve?
I mean, I agree with a Soraka first pick. Something that we've been seeing over here in the US is kind of a Jenna first pick every single time. And they're pretty close to the same level. I mean, Soraka has the ability to offset a ton of damage with that insanely strong heal, which for some reason also gives armor. It's just amazing. And then you have the global heal on top of it. You have basically just a mana machine. If you put her on bottom lane, you can just have your AD carry spamming away if you want to put an Ezreal with her, or you can have her in mid and she can just stop whoever you have mid and just silence them out and constantly drop all the lovely magic resistant team fights. So she's definitely a very, very strong character that is actually more versatile than a lot of people think.
Like now, hovering over Ahri. Ahri's fun to watch as well in the middle lane. And the armor buff that Soraka gives in the bottom lane as well is so powerful. I think at level 2 or 3, it adds like 48 armor or so. And that can't be discount or not counted into the equation as well. Especially if you've got, like, say, for example, somebody locks in a Graves or any of those burst AD carries. That armor buff mitigates so much of that pressure. So Ahri and Nautilus are locked in. So Teamless now, they're going to be taking away the Nautilus from Maluno. No, it wasn't Maluno who used it. Maluno was playing Nocturne in the previous game, so ignore me there, I apologize. And, well, strange enough, talking about Graves, are we going to see a Graves in the bottom lane? Slepper maybe wanting to play Graves as opposed to taking him. And Lulu, I love Lulu in the mid. We watched Alexis from Moscow 5 pick up some great kills earlier on today and really controlling the game with Lulu. So hopefully we can see some great plays once more.
Yeah, I mean, you have, if we do end up seeing a Lulu mid, or I've even seen Lulu top a fair amount of times, that's going to put Soraka with Graves on bottom, and Graves with that insane passive as it is, he can, at level, up to level 5 I believe, it's an automatic 10 armor, 10 magic resist as long as you keep the stacks up, and then you have Soraka behind it too, so he becomes so naturally tanky without any items, and it affords him the ability to just go and pick up whatever items he wants. He doesn't really need to build into that really standard tanky build with the double Dorans. He can kind of cut that a little bit and sometimes go for an earlier BF sword or a pickaxe. And I do like this pickup on. Actually, I don't even know. I didn't even look the team names as we went into this. But the Corki Janna pick on bottom countering the Soraka. So if either Graves or Soraka do get caught out here, a lot of damage is going to be done to them, both through the Corki True Damage, the Phosphorus Bomb, and the passive from Leona whenever she comes in and just tags anything. It's a very, very strong combination that, again, is slept on over here. So hopefully we see some really strong burst play from bottom lane.
I like that as well. Slepper's going to have to play that Graves passive quite well, or play it quite aggressively. Try to keep those stacks up, because the burst damage from the magic and the physical, as well as the true from Corki, it's really, really powerful to deal with. So if Leona and Corki are able to get some early aggression down, they might actually be able to pick up some very early kills. And what I like here at the moment, Riven in the top lane, Mundo in the jungle, and potentially a Kayle top lane. I do not see too many Kayle top lanes over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's It's kind of becoming more popular over here. I don't know. It's the thing that's actually come over to US, and I think it was bigger in the Europe scene was Renekton. He's kind of starting to make a really big play over in top lane over here, and it's nice to see that things are changing. Not all that much, but the meta is slowly shifting in different ways, so it keeps the game fresh.
Now, something else to remember or think about. This game, or this tournament, we do have Athene's Unholy Grail. It is automatically banned. You're not allowed to build it or upgrade it. And, of course, Darius is auto-banned as well. So not dealing with that this time around. As we got excited about Kale, it was, in fact, swapped out to Irelia. And I think that's a brave move because we just seen how strong a Riven can be against an Irelia in the top lane. And I don't understand why you would pick that champion because Riven can beat Irelia.
Yeah, I mean, Riven has, with the exception of, in my opinion, basically Jax only, Riven has the ability to kind of just get in the face of any character in the game and basically just work them. It comes down to how strong of a Riven player you are. If you really understand her individual mechanics where you can get in, throw in those broken wing combos where you Q onto someone, get the auto attack, Q again, keep going with it, and just putting so much damage on people so fast, and you can win almost every single trade every time. And for a character in top lane to be able to do that and still be sustained or just be able to push someone out of the lane over and over, it's kind of what you want.
Now, I've also noticed as well in the mid lane, so we know the top lane, back and forth. Mid lane, Extinct coming up against Tabs, and that's going to be Lulu against Ahri. We've seen a Lulu-Ahri matchup on Tuesday or Thursday of this week, and the Lulu wasn't able to pick up kills against Ahri, but with the damage that could be put down from the Glitter Lance as well as the damage from help picks was more than enough to keep Ahri on the back foot, keep Ahri low, and it just meant that Ahri was constantly, at less than half health, not able to continually fight, wasn't able to commit to a big fight with the Spirit Rush because she never had the hit points to really push forward. So we'll see if that's going to play out the same way again this time round. And then, of course, we've got two very aggressive and two very effective early game junglers as well. Kurt playing Nautilus as well as Maluno playing Dr. Mundo.
Yeah, I mean, you have Mundo, who's Burning Agony route if he tries to take, or decides to take it rather, lets him clear camps in 3-4 seconds. It's nonsense fast how quick a Mundo can move through the jungle, and he is going to be starting on blue team, so we probably won't be seeing any kind of aggression out of top right away. Although there are people that like to go the Wolves blue into top. A lot of the times you'll see if he's purple team, you'll see a red straight to, or rather a Wraith's red straight to top. But we might be seeing a blue and then a red seal, as Nautilus is a semi-slow jungle in the early stages of the game. Or we might just see some early aggression on bottom as they might try to back down bottom lane since Leona and Corki don't have any sustain compared against a Soraka. Soraka is the sustained machine.
Yeah, she does need a couple of levels though, because it takes I think it's level 2, level 3 into that Astral Blessing before it starts healing for 140 and above hit points. But of course, it once she hits those levels very early on, it becomes nearly impossible to push Soraka or Graves out of that lane. Summoner spells at the moment. Maluno going very, very aggressive. Smite and Exhaust. Counter Flash Smite for Kerp and Nautilus. And a lot of Ignites for Teamless.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the Ignites. You have a Mundo and you have a Soraka. And one of the things that I try to teach the people trying to get into this game, get into the competitive scene, one of the things you can do to really fight against a Soraka is you pick up an Ignite. And Ignite is just a beautiful summoner spell against a Soraka, because not only does it cut the heals in half that the target receives if they're ignited, but it'll also burn away the majority of that heal too with just the dot damage over time, because it's true damage, so you can just absolutely crush away a Soraka heal. And if you time everything correctly, especially with the burstiness of a Leona and a Corki on bottom lane, that's something that you can just absolutely crush whatever you're going for. If Soraka isn't running those heavy armor runes, we might be seeing a very, very strong amount of aggression going towards her as opposed to Graves.
So, skins are loading up. We do have the S&M Dr. Mundo. I always think it's super creepy. Bottom lane, or top lane rather, Frostblade Irelia. The only person not wearing a skin at the moment is Zinnik. Oh, sorry, Kerp as well. Kerp and Zinnik. Oh, I'm blind. Ignore me. 2 for Teamless, no skins. 1 for Absolute Legends, no skin. I like to decide who's going to win the game based on skins. So we asked chat earlier who they thought was going to win. Absolute Legends were the preferred team in terms of predictions. I want to know now, where's First Blood coming from? Where is First Blood coming from? I'm going to be putting it down on chat. I'm just going to throw up my overlays. Got to change the scores. Absolute Legends on the left-hand side. Teamless on the right-hand side. And Steve, we're into the game.
Well, you are. I'm in load screen still.
You need a new computer, dude.
And well, it's the connection overseas, but everybody's loaded. It's sitting on summon right now. I think that we probably see a First Blood either from top or bottom lane, and I want to lean more to top lane just because Riven is such a strong character, and I'm up to speed now. I'm at 40 seconds into the game.
Great.
But Riven is such a strong character along with Mundo, who can come in with that exhaust, and if they try a level 2 or even a level 3 pressure, Irelia I don't think has the kit that is required to really stave off that pressure. If Riven can drop that stun and get hit by a cleaver on top of an exhaust, I don't really see her casually walking away from that. She does have the CC reduction built in, and she is Irelia, but it's still a lot of damage going in.
So we do see a little bit of an aggression coming from Leona. Lorden moving all the way in, placing a ward down, which Extinct is currently dancing on top of. So making it very, very clear that they know that the ward is there. They know that all of that is busy happening. And at the moment, a very, very passive start. No real invades, no real pressure from either team. Mirror images as far as the wards are concerned.
Let me see. Riven, realizing that there's not going to be any pressure, decides to grab up that 4th health potion, which a lot of tops have liked to do recently. And it looks like Mundo is going to be starting his red, so we might be seeing some kind of aggression on bottom lane if they actually even time this right. He might be able to come in as they're coming back down to bottom lane, as it looks like they're giving a pretty hard leash to Nautilus.
Now, I'd like to see exactly how this is going to turn out, because of course this is effectively winner takes all. The winner of this game qualifies for Dreamhack. No more questions asked. That's it. You're right up there. In terms of this top lane, we've said it. We've spoken about it so much, and I'm going to try to keep my attention on it as long as I can, because I think Riven should be able to take out an Irelia up until about level maybe 6, 7, 8. Once Irelia starts to max out that hit-in style and get her Transcendent Blades up, the sustain that she's got is going to be a little bit superior than the damage that can be put out from a Riven without items. Bottom lane, we've already seen some poke back and forth. A little bit of damage, but Lord is going to have to land quite a few of those Zenith Blades, followed up by the shield stun, and then be able to convert the damage.
Yeah, one thing I don't know if you saw it or where you were looking on the screen at the time, but Soraka actually threw a ward into that top bush, and it got taken out just by auto attacks, just because both Corki and Leona were waiting for it so hard. That was a nice little bit of high-level skill there. The nice thing about this bottom lane for Graves, though, is that he can push and push and push, and he never really has to worry about mana. I mean, right now he's already thrown 4 or 5 buckshots, and he's still sitting at full mana just because he has a Soraka with him. And so many silences, so many just spells already being used on bottom lane. The dash coming in from Leona, but it will not actually follow through with a stun, as Graves effectively dashes away right before anything can happen.
And on the top lane, we've got pressure as well. Maluna's chilling in this tower, but I don't think they should really do a tower dive at this stage in the game. The thing is that we should point out as well, Metal X has taken a lot of damage from those buckshots and those auto attacks, and just cannot sustain that. No heal in the lane, no way to get that hit points back without attacking. It does appear as though my stream has just got a little bit of lag. I'm taking it right now. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know if that's server. I don't know if that's Twitch or my internet connection, but it appears to be back. Anyways, Corki's down to his last potion, out of potions in fact, and Slepper playing super, super aggressively with this infuse buckshot combination. Corki's going to be forced to recall very, very shortly. Loads of pressure on the top lane. Now Maluno has been caught out. Kerp is busy dashing on him. It looks like an Ignite had gone out or something similar. Young Buck does manage to get up close enough though. And it wasn't actually an Ignite, it was just the auto attacks coming out. The red buff ticking away. Maluno almost gives up first blood, but he manages to walk away from it.
We see in mid lane right now too, we're seeing what we kind of talked about before. Lulu is able to put a lot of damage on whoever she's going up against, but a lot of the time it's hard to pick up a kill because the more damage you get put on you, the safer you kind of tend to play automatically against a Lulu. You know that she doesn't have any kind of crazy, just crazy burst to hit you with, but as long as you realize that you can actually get damaged by her, you basically shouldn't die. And it seems like that's what this Ahri is doing. She's taking a couple hits, knowing that she has to come in, line up the creep wave, and that usually means that you stand in the creep wave, which Lulu is taking advantage of, just throwing her glitter lance over everything and hitting both things together, the creeps and the Ahri in lane.
Very interesting as well. I'm taking a look at this bottom lane right now. There's a ward sitting right next to the turret from Teamless.
That was a mistake by Leona. She actually commented on it in chat. Sleeper saying, like, what was that? Why did you do that? And accidentally hit 2. Whoops.
So that's a bit of a cost. Very frustrating. The bottom lane has been on the back foot the entire time. I just took a look at Slepper's runes. He's running a lot of HP runes at the moment. Predominantly HP and a little bit of armor penetration. And in terms of farm from this pressure they've been putting down, 44 CS to 29 on Corki. We do have a pretty big cluster at the moment. Nautilus is coming in from behind. A very nice push forward. That's going to stun Slepper up. First blood and a great dredge on. That's going to lock Zinnik up as well. But a little bit of miscommunication from Teamless. They didn't actually know that was going to be happening. Metalex moved back to farm. And Flash is burned. But first blood goes the way of Teamless. We have to see whether or not that's going to continue. Maybe snowball this bottom lane.
Yeah, that's gonna put Corki back in the lane, and what we're kind of seeing on bottom at least how it's gone so far, is when you're dealing with the lane that doesn't actually. I'm gonna be quiet as Ahri's coming up top here, potentially doing something that looks like she wants to back off.
Ignite has gone down onto Young Buck, so he's gonna be moving forward. Anguish has stunned him up. Orb of Deception misses on the second proc, but the Spirit Rush plus the Foxfire was enough, and Tabs picks up a fairly easy kill. Also, first blood went to Leona, not Corki, so that's not ideal. Not ideal at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not. It's not what you really want to see. But either way, taking down the Graves, getting him away from experience, getting him away from farm, pretty much always a good thing. Sadly, it didn't go to Corki, but I'm sure they'll make it work. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that when you're dealing with a lane that has no sustain and you have an insane amount of sustain, if you play it too passively, you'll let that lane with the burst being Corki. So you can let them back into the game by not pressuring them. If you can pressure them out of the lane, you don't have to worry about them coming in and doing anything crazy, because they don't have the ability that if they do miss something, they won't be able to get back in. So if you can actually knock them down and make them kind of second guess their decisions, you'll be in a much stronger position than you would against a normal. I guess I shouldn't say normal anymore. This is becoming rather normal. But a standard support lane. And we have Nautilus coming here on bottom, dropping that pink ward, making sure that he's not seeing that bush. And now we have a potential gank going on again as Graves is pushing this lane forward.
Depth charge is available as well. The Valkyrie comes out, but I don't know if they're trying to bait aggression or try to pull Slepper back. Well, there we go. There he comes. There goes the smoke screen. Depth charge is going to knock Slepper up, and the bottom lane Lord has now pushed Zinnik out of lane for a little bit. The stun comes out. Metal is so far away, though. He wasn't really putting a lot of damage down, and it felt just a little bit sloppy, a little bit not necessarily coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, the Soraka did actually make a very smart choice there by silencing Leona right off the start, making sure that Leona couldn't actually turn and jump on Graves as that gank went down. So Graves did have a little bit of an opportunity to get away, and I think that silence might have actually saved him, as Leona wasn't able to throw that Zenith Blade right away and root him in range of Corki, as Corki's Valkyrie, I believe, was still down since he used it to kind of bait out that fight.
Yeah, he used it very, very aggressively early on, and it's got about a 20-odd second cooldown, so it's fairly high. Top lane, 50 CS on Riven, double Dorans and boots, in comparison to the Ninja Tabai, cloth armor and longsword. So Anguish going for a slightly more effective build in terms of the fact that he can at least upgrade his items, whereas Riven has just gone for that raw stats, raw damage, HP, and lifesteal right now. 500 gold difference. I'm going to try and look at this middle lane at the moment. I haven't actually watched a lot of Extinct or Tabs, and farm-wise, pretty much as even as you can be, 86 to 81. The difference, of course, Extinct has the Kage's Lucky Pick built right now. So Kage's Lucky Pick, that's going to be helping quite a bit when it comes to just, earning up that gold. So even if the CS is tight, Extinct is always going to have more gold, compliments of the GP5 ticking over.
Yeah, I mean, right now as we look at it, let's see, Ari is sitting at 3.1k gold, while Lulu is right about to hit 3.1k. So they're basically right on par. And we have two summoners being blown on top lane actually, I lied, just one. Just the Ignite going down on Riven, and it's not going to really do all that much. It just backs Riven off a little bit, doesn't secure a kill or anything.
Yeah, Youngbuck was able to walk away from that pretty easily. We watched him playing Renekton in the previous game, and he had a really great game up in the top lane. Youngbuck's now trying to do some trades, knows that Ignite is down. And on the bottom lane, we do have pressure. Now all of a sudden, Graves just gets completely stun-locked underneath the tower. Push backwards now. Kerp has managed to slow up. Zinnik does have that red buff ticking. He's going to be able to cast Riptide in just a second. That's going to be able to slow Zinnik. If Metalex can jump forward, a very nice Zenith Blade pushes forward. Wish goes out. One more auto attack from Metalex. Does pick up the kill. And in the middle lane now, Tabs with the Ignite on, taking a lot of damage. These help picks plus one more auto attack means Extinct actually picks up a kill against Tabs. So that's the first kill for Absolute Legends, but they are 1,000 gold behind. Now while all that is going on, Help Picks goes out. It's going to slow Anguish just for a tiny bit. Cleaver to the back. Maluno's trying to put some damage down. He's got his Sadism now ticking, dodges the dredge line, and it's going to be able to get him out of the way. And wow, Teamless with a great start to the game. 3-kill advantage. It's only 700 gold right now, but kills are going the ways of Ari, Leona, 201 Corki, as opposed to a 022 or 020 Graves. How does that change your votes, chat? What do you think of that right now?
Sadly, so for anybody that is wondering what Graves does, he's basically he's kind of an AD caster in some regards compared against a lot of the other ADs out there. And his level 6 timing is probably one of the scariest in the game. And I did get to see it, but it didn't actually take Corki down. What you can do with it is that you can dash into range and you can buckshot and collateral damage being his ultimate, and you can put a ton of damage in. So if someone is even at about half health and this Graves even gets, let's see, he doesn't have any major damage items, so when he does pick up his BF sword, he's going to be able to do this on cooldown, and it is terrifying. He can dash in and drop like 500, 600 damage with just 2 abilities right away, and it is so scary to see. I wouldn't be surprised to be seeing that over and over. And we do have Nautilus coming down here, but we have a Mundo gank going on.
Yep, that's it. They put so much damage onto Lord, and he manages to use that Solar Flare to lock up Mundo for a little bit. Does take another cleaver to the back. Graves is going to use the collateral damage to pick up a kill. So while all that's going on, kill does happen in the jungle at the moment. So we'll rewind just a few seconds very quickly. Watch the kill going down in the middle as we've seen Leona going down. Dredgeline used to get away. Uses the depth shots to knock him up, but it looked like Youngbuck jumped over it. But wow, that burst was just huge.
It looks like Absolute Legends is going to trade a top tower here for a dragon, and that's a relatively smart trade. The the exception to the tower rule is mid lane. It's kind of okay to give away your outer towers for top and bottom, but mid lane it's an entirely different story. As opposed to dragon too, when you're talking about a dragon will respawn, and it gives about the same gold for taking down a tower. So if you take down a tower, that's a one-time thing, but if you can maintain dragon control the whole time, it's pretty much like you're taking down towers over and over. It doesn't have the same map positioning as it is, but the gold comes in at the same amount.
Have a look at the...
being a little aggressive here.
Well, have a look at talking about gold and items and things like that. Take a look at the item build so far. Ari, 120 CS, opted to go for that Hextech Revolver triple Doran's Blade. In comparison, we of course got Extinct. He's got the Kage's pick and the blasting one, so ability power slightly higher for Extinct. Not, anything really to write home about. But Soraka, 012, Hearts of Gold and the Philosopher's Stone sticking over, as opposed to just the Hearts of Gold from Leona. So Soraka's going to slowly be earning a little bit more gold than her counterpart. That might mean a Shirelia's earlier. It might mean Aegis of the Legion slightly earlier. We're going to have to keep an eye on it.
Yep, and the thing to talk about with Lulu is that actually we have some pressure coming in here on Wolves. Aurelia being right around the corner too, trying to do some damage on this Lulu. Nice ult, slowing Aurelia and getting her away, but will not follow through. Actually, she will. Looks like she's going to come around and try to put some aggression on here. But Nautilus is right around the corner, and she does effectively back off.
The Wish was used from Soraka, though, so not entirely useless. The Wish is now down off cooldown. Whether or not Teamless know that and can take advantage of it will remain to be seen. But the damage that is coming out is really, really good. And I would have expected Aurelia to actually survive a little better than that. But of course, she has gone for armor as opposed to the magic resist. So it allows Lulu to burst through a little bit more and deal a little bit more damage.
Lulu opting to pick up this Abyssal Scepter very, very early in the game. And I really like that pickup. She's dealing against a lot of AP coming out of this Ahri. Just a lot of... Ahri did go Foxfire build, which is something that we've been seeing a little bit less over here, but it's starting to become more prevalent in the US servers, and that you can just hit Foxfire and walk near someone and does a ton of damage.
Great pressure. Solar Flare just completely locks Slip up. He takes a stun from Kerp, but unfortunately they just don't have the damage coming out from Metalex at the moment to completely win that fight. Maluno's now committed. Buckshot collateral damage has been used. Slip is very, very low. He manages to get Dredge Line as Maluno steps to the side. Summoner Heal's been used. The Riptide's blown now as well. Buckshot should be very, very close to cooldown. 3 seconds. Lulu actually manages to pick up that kill with the Glitter Lance. She's going to turn Kerp into a frog or something similar. He's going to then just get melted. Compliments of another Glitter Lance and Buckshot. And Absolute Legends, they turn it around. They were behind, but with those kills right now, they now have a gold advantage. And, of course, they've taken out 2 of the opponent's side from Teamless.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about this lineup that Absolute Legends has is that if Leona really does decide to go basically just tunnel vision on one character, Lulu can just throw her ult and offset a lot of the stuff that Leona has done, not only damage-wise, but also just knocking them away and giving a slower. So if that ult does go down on the Graves or a Riven, definitely expect to see a lot of chasing. And if it, for some reason, if it ever hits a Mundo, we're going to be seeing someone get walked down absolutely, as the slow aura behind it and the Mundo ult throwing down just a ton of move speed along with it.
I like the wild growth from Lulu as well, because it gives you that huge hit point boost, gives you the very large slow, and when you put it on a champion like a Riven or a Mundo, who actually they have to jump in the middle of everybody. It's the way you play the champion, it's the way you play that particular character, their abilities and whatnot. It just gives them so much survivability. The big thing for me with Lulu as well is whimsy, the ability to polymorph your opponent. It's, if not more effective than the silence from Soraka, because it reduces all of the auto attacks. You can't even really move as effectively. And if it's cast on a teammate like a Riven or like Mundo, like we were saying, it gives them a very big speed boost. At level 1, it's 35% movement speed for 5 seconds, which is huge when you consider the amount of damage that Riven can put down in that space of time, with currently sitting on the Phage double Dorans and in the bank another 2,000 gold. So that movement speed is just going to allow you just to stick to your opponents and melt anybody's health bar on Teamless.
Yep.
So 5-4 is the kills, 1,500 gold, and only the 1 tower.
So there's something that I always like to point out when we're dealing with these games, and we don't necessarily have downtime, but there's nothing insane happening right now. The ward placement from these teams is, well, as I say that, a lot of them go down as the timers run out. But the ward placement from these teams are just, they're on point. We have basically buddy wards everywhere, because both teams acknowledge the certain kind of key areas of these maps that need to be warded, and they keep them warded as much as they can. And it looks like Leona's going on a little warding spree right here as I'm saying this. So she really is protecting this bottom lane. They have a ward in Tri-Bush, they have a ward at Dragon, and a ward in the bush above Dragon. There's a ward going down on the the Wolves ramp over by Baron too. So whenever Mundo comes out of the jungle, they're gonna know where he is. And earlier on in the game, they also had wards in his jungle, knowing his path, and they were able to kind of play it safe and know where he was at almost every time in the game.
And
Dragon is coming up now, so we'll be seeing potential fight going on here.
So we got a 4-man teamless, make it a 5-man teamless here at the Dragon Pit at the moment. Absolutely everybody's there, but everybody from Absolute Legends has arrived as well. Are they going to let this Dragon go uncontested? They've moved in. Smite does actually go the way of Teamless. Charm manages to actually pick up Riven. Youngbuck's not the one that you really want to be focusing. Tabs is now forced to run away. Sadism has been popped by Maluno. Youngbuck has now activated her ultimate as well. Just dodges the charm. And a free Dragon for Teamless.
Yeah, I think that would have been good if they got there even just 5 seconds earlier. But the timing was so nice from Teamless that they were just able to take it without any real contest. Graves did throw his collateral damage there, did a lot of damage to everyone, but when they scrambled away, everyone moved appropriately. Corki ran up the blue to make sure that anybody would chase him, and then he could just Valkyrie away and he wouldn't get caught.
The damage that's coming out at the moment is really high. Tabs just taken from nearly full health down to a third. Just with a little bit of poke, just a little bit of attack damage, and melts that HP bar. Tabs is going to have to be very careful once we get to these bigger team fights, because if Tabs is out of position, he's just going to get focused and blown up before the fight has even really begun. And with Ari, that's worrying, because you need to use that Spirit Rush to get in and amongst everybody. You need to dive forward, stay in the middle of the entire group of people. And if you're not doing that, you're not really dealing damage.
Yeah.
So have a look at what Riven's built at the moment. 150 CS to the 153 on Aurelia. Currently with 600 gold in the bank. BF Sword and the Phage completed. So Youngbuck, he likes to play aggressive. He likes to play DPS champions. And he seems to be doing pretty well with Riven, just as like he did in the previous game as Renekton.
Yeah, I mean, Riven is this character that is just insanely strong. I mean, she scales twice over with AD, so Bloodthirster is basically a must on her, as it is the highest AD granting item in the game. But she's so strong. Whenever she uses an ability, she gets more AD, but whenever she uses an ability, it's based off AD. And Leona, oh no! Oh my goodness.
Melted.
Absolutely exploding.
Melted. I just had the camera over it right at the end there and just watched the HP dropping. Absolute Legends looking like they're transitioning into this team fight stage with a bang.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see that Ari elected to pick up the Deathfire Grasp before Lulu did, and that can cause some serious...
Look at the pressure now at the moment. Slepper's pushed forward, Wish has been used, Metalex is still committing to this fight, gets silenced. Whimsy and then the... almost Whimsy, sorry, the Glitter Lance, just enough to finish him off there, but Corki was able to 1v1 Graves. Slepper was losing that duel to Metalex.
Yeah, I mean, Corki's sitting on a Trinity Force right now, which gives him a little bit more tankiness. It doesn't give him that crit that, well, it gives him the crit, but it doesn't give him the crit damage that Infinity Edge gives. But Corki he's such a spammy character that if I'm going to shut up and
look at that pressure. The depth charge comes up. The wild growth has been used on Slepper, but unfortunately Slep manages to use that dredge line of his, grabs it on the wall, pulls himself backwards, so low on life. Lord and Tab super low. But not willing to tank the turret. Another great fight for Absolute Legends. Teamless came in and they committed, but they were committing 3 versus 4, even at the best situation.
Yeah, it seems like they were playing so well in the early game when it wasn't really complicated team engagements. But now that we're coming into these 4-on-4, 5-on-5s, and whatever number combination you want to come up with next, it feels like they're not really going into it the same way that they were before. The other times everything felt really controlled and that they were going in and they were being the initiators. But it seems that when even like one little thing gets turned on them, they just start kind of falling apart and losing the engage. So I don't know what they need to do. Maybe they just need to group up and really coordinate, try to pick someone off and turn the fight into a 4-on-5 and then continue with it. But they definitely need to change at least something up right here.
Well, they're not too far behind. It's only a couple of thousand gold. In terms of items at the moment, the carry champions, they've got some good burst. Ari's got decent burst at the DFG. Irelia's moving towards that Trinity Force, got the Phage and the crit gloves at the moment. Trinity Force completed on Corki, so they're not so far behind, but they need to pick better engagements, and they can't afford to get caught out in those situations. They're committing to fights that they can't win, and that's a very, very big problem. So I'm having a look at Lulu at the moment. 268 ability power to the 208 that Tabs is currently running on Ari. And I think the ratios are slightly higher. Glitzer Lance hits a little bit more than Orb of Deception right now, and of course it applies a very, very powerful slow.
Yep. I mean, Glitter Lance, thankfully it got nerfed a little bit because it was just nonsensically strong. So that's nice that it's not any more ridiculous than it used to be. And Gray's actually managing to take down Corki on bottom, and he looks like he's trying to continue on with this Leona, but he does see that this massively tanky Nautilus comes in here, and he will drop to Nautilus, trying to turn on Leona and get that buckshot kill off before it happens, but he does go down. The Glitterland's actually missing by a nice little stutter step dodge from Nautilus. Nautilus throwing his Dredgeline at the wall, and it looks like he'll be able to get away from this.
Whimsy has been used on Extinct, so he's going to be diving forward. If he can get a good Glitter Lance, maybe it's enough, but the Dredgeline does come down. And unfortunately, just with that the distance, he's able to get away. Now, in the mid lane, Tabs, or the river rather, Tabs was fighting with Maluno. Lands the charm. Orb of Deception does go out, but now with Soraka and Lulu getting close by, Maluno may feel a little bit more confident to fight. Doesn't have that Sadism ultimate up, but Dragon has respawned, and now Absolute Legends probably going to pull this Dragon and look at picking up the... I think this will be their second Dragon of the game. It's been 1-for-1 so far.
This will be the second one. The first one went to them, and then the
second one went to Teamless. Yeah, so 2 Dragons, second one going the way of Absolute Legends, completely unchallenged. And it just extends their gold lead just a little bit. But something that should be pointed out, Ari has now managed to finish her Will of the Ancients, and that's going to benefit everybody. Every single one of the champions on Teamless benefits from additional ability power, benefits from additional spell vamp. But they need to group up and they need to pick a fight as a 5-man team before you can actually see the benefits of that item.
Yep. And it looks like we have Teamless moving over here for the possible Baron, but they will be seen by this ward. I don't know if they really want to just go in and try to bait this fight, or if they kind of need better ward placement around the map. If that ward in the bush was just even a little bit farther up, it would be very, very nice. Mundo actually missing the cleaver there might get a false sense of security as he comes in here, but luckily for him, they actually moved out of the bush before he went in. Seeing that Mundo comes in and clears that ward, though, they're coming back, and everyone just going to be a little complacent and go back and jockey for position again.
And I just heard some news, guys. Natus Vencia have defeated Counterlogic Gaming EU in the first game of the lower bracket. The team that loses that best of 3 is out. They do not qualify for Dreamhack. They are gone, guys. So Na'Vi have won the first one. After this match, I'm going to see what the admins say, but I think I might try jump into the next Na'Vi CLG game because I do think it's a pretty big game to watch. But we'll have to see what chat says and what the admins have to agree with. But at the moment, Teamless, they have started Baron. It's going down very quickly, actually, down to 3,800 hit points. Absolute Legends are close, but they're going to have to commit very, very soon. Absolute Legends, or Teamless, have now fallen off. And the damage onto Metal X, the Whimsy in conjunction with Help Picks, and then the knockup manages to catch. The Ribbon's going to be able to just whitewash everybody. Double kill for Graves so far. Make that a triple kill, and now they're going to turn their attention to Baron. And wow, Metal X just got melted.
Yeah, I mean, Corki got caught out there. The DFG went down. The Glitter Lance on top of it. I don't actually know what did the rest of the damage there. I didn't think to see. I think it was a Riven that came in, but she might have come in late. I know the killing blow was from collateral damage from Graves, which dropped down and hit a ton of people with it, and then Riven just came in and Broken Wings did about half of everybody's life as she was so nicely positioned in all of them. Threw up that stun, and then 3 people dropped. Graves turned back around and chased the Nautilus down for the kill too. So a massive, massive gold swing there, going from 4,000 gold to almost 10,000 now. It's a big thing that you almost never want to see when you're the opposing team.
Yeah, especially because they were holding it. They were so close for so long. And just that last Baron fight and the kills that they gave away, Graves has now finished his Guardian Angel as well. I mean, it's so much damage, but I couldn't get over the burst onto Metal X. I do also just want to add right now that in the other semi-final, the other upper bracket game between XHCL and Moscow 5, Moscow 5 won the first game, XHCL won the second game. So it's 1-1 Moscow 5 XHCL. I would like to know from chat, guys, would you like us to jump over to the M5 game, or would you prefer us to jump over to Na'Vi versus CLG, which is in the lower bracket? And of course, that means that whoever loses that one is actually out of the tournament entirely. So I'm keeping just a close eye on the chat at the moment. It looks like very strong favor of CLG. So I think that's what we're going to do, guys. We'll jump over to that one. And the damage from Extinct, that Deathfire Grasp plus the Whims, well, Help Picks and Glitter Lance, it almost bursts down Anguish just alone. There you go. I mean,
Oh
Extinct 1v1ing Irelia without even batting an eyelid.
Lulu is a strong character, and although I guess in Aurelia's defense, this is a very large Lulu too, with 250 CS and standing right on the verge of having that death cap. Adam, what do you think about the Locket of Iron Solari pickup on Mundo?
I'm a huge fan, considering the way that the game's going at the moment, and the fact that there's quite a bit of AoE damage. You know, you've got the AoE from Nautilus, you've got all of the AoE from Transcendent Blades. Ari deals predominantly AoE. Corki's got a lot of AoE. So I like the fact that Locket is going to be able to apply shields to absolutely everybody. And look at this, Young Buck is now diving for it. The only ultimate has to be used defensively. Wind Slash, and that was just pretty much Riven and Graves with a little bit of attacks and a little bit of damage, almost single-handedly taking out Teamless. And it looks as though Absolute Legends are going to be running away with this first game in the best of 3. Dredgeline does manage to catch Extinct. She uses the Wild Growth, knocks everybody else up. Now they've turned their attention. Metal X cannot stay in the fight. And even with a great snare, great engage, there's no more burst from Teamless.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. If anybody decides to engage on someone when there's a Lulu on the team, and it's a melee engage, like a Dredgeline or a Zenith Blade, oh man, Riven actually going to get caught out here, but she appropriately just turns and runs away. The rest of her team following in though, so this is now their fight to lose, and it's
just
looking like Absolute
melted.
Rush through this.
Young Buck managed to pick up a double kill right there, turn his attentions. In the background, Graves picks up another kill onto Corki. Shirelia's Reverie has been popped defensively. Extinct is going to be trying to catch somebody. If somebody gets caught by a cleaver, that's going to be another death. Tabs forced to use that Spirit Rush super defensively. Second dash as well as the Dredgeline. They're still chasing. There goes the depth charge. That's onto Slipper in the background. Wild Growth is going to be forced to pop, knock up Kerp. And that's going to be one dead submarine or diver rather. 18-5, 10,000 gold. This looks to me like Absolute Legends picking up the first victory.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, Nautilus tried to kite them around, try to get a little bit more time for his team to get back alive, but it will not be enough, and Absolute Legends will take this game. Congratulations to you.
So, well played to Absolute Legends, well played to them. I'm going to be just having a quick chat to the admins and double-checking exactly which game we're going to jump into. So give me 2 minutes to arrange that, guys, and we'll be right back with the next game.